Good morning, my fellow simpletons and degenerates. How are you guys doing? Let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. Sure did, sure can. Back at it again, and I'm happy to say that the market is doing exactly what we expected it to do today. I like what I'm seeing. Um, Ton of opportunities out there. Everybody that is in the stock market for some reason today is kind of having a long face, and I don't understand why. We are loving today, especially you guys that wrote some covered calls against your stock in the last few days when the market was flying. And as you guys will know, this is why we're here, right? We're here to make money. And we don't just make money on days that the stock market is healthy and just keeps going up. Yes, your stocks gain value. Yes, you want that, but pullbacks and corrections are a healthy thing for the stock market, right? And right now, I'm hearing the pundits, in different finance networks and channels talking about how things are looking bleak now. Forward guidance or just guidance in general is down because a lot of companies are not meeting, their benchmarks and their goals. And I mean, 2 days ago, these guys were talking about how everything was amazing and the companies were strong, the economy was strong, and now we're talking about weakness in the market. And are we frothy? Are we going to have a recession, perhaps? We're talking about tax cuts, right? Not tax cuts, I'm sorry, rate cuts, and how they may not happen now. And so these are things that in the channel we've been talking about, ad nauseum, right? And I mean, wonderful day for those of you guys that have been sitting on piles of cash that had some reserves. Some companies are down 5-10% right now. I think like the overall market is down, right? So there's also new goals that people are setting, and they're talking about now we have to look at Jackson Hole and that meeting because the Fed is not gonna meet, like, they're not gonna meet and cut rates for the rest of August, right? And they are gonna meet in September, but they are going to meet at Jackson Hole, I think, in late August, and I think that's going to give us kind of like a how do I put it, like a forward looking um, vision on how the economy is going to be, I think, in September, and whether we for sure are going to get a rate cut or not. I don't know, man. I just it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to you guys. It doesn't matter to me for sure. Just because I'm set. I have a plan. If we go, and have a rate cut, then I'm going to act accordingly. If we don't have a rate cut, that means that there's going to be a big pullback in the market, right? And I'm going to act accordingly, and then I'm going to sell some cash secure puts. I'm going to bring in buttloads of premium, and I'm going to make money that route. So it doesn't matter what the market wants to do as a whole. It doesn't matter what the fat cats want to do with the economy and how they want to steer it, because at the end of the day, time is my money, right? Like, that's my premium, and I'm asking for companies to pay me for me believing in them, and that's exactly what the premiums for options are, right? So anyways, good morning, my fellow simpletons and degenerates, near the wells and scalawags. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you guys are having a great morning. I hope you guys are caffeinated and have got something in your bellies and are either at work or on your way to work, or if you're not working, that you're chilling today, but you're making a little cash, right? Let's see what we got here. What's the chat doing? Hector is in the house with the number one spot. Good morning, Hector. Kent's mom is here as always. I always love to see her. Kent's mom, Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Tom Kaufman's in the house with number 3 and the number 2 batch. DH Ruta's in the house with the number 3 batch saying good morning, Savage. Good morning. Jeff Glass is in the house saying yo. Mando number 5, not to be confused with Mambo number 5, is saying good morning to all in here. Bobby Atkinson's in the house with number 6 thumbs up. He's saying good old day, buddy. Beach Boy is in the house from Thailand. Whoa. Beach Boy, good morning, brother. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're having a wonderful time with the family. And I hope you have, just a blast. And needless to say, for those of you guys that don't believe me when I say you can do this anywhere, you can trade from any place on earth while on vacation, while in the toilet. You can trade from the airplane, in a car, in the bar, in a restaurant from afar. I like Green X, Sam I Am. You could be anywhere, man. My eureka moment when it dawned on me that I can write options and make money while on vacation was in Hawaii. I think 4 or 5 years ago, I was with the family. I think Christmas time, and my daughter and my son were playing with my wife, like on the beach. Right, we're at the Waikiki beach, on the sand, and waters. They're splashing water at each other, and they're laughing, and I'm just on my phone and I'm trading. I think it was C3.ai or SoFi. I don't know if it was SoFi actually. It could have been GME or Unity, but anyway. So I was trading and I made like $1,000 or like $2,000, something like that. And I was just like, holy crap. Like I'm sitting on the beach. My wife is playing with my kids. I'm drinking a Mai Tai. So I was drinking and I was making a trade. It went through and I made money. And that was to me wild and that was amazing. That's when I was hooked. I was done. I said, this is what I want to do. And I've been dumping, cash into my portfolios ever since then, just way more than before. Down days, I make money. Green days, I make money on boring days. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is when we have sideways days, right? When we have those boring days, you know what I was thinking about getting is instead of a bear, because not really bearish that day, right? And not a bull because it's not really bullish on that day. And sometimes I do feel like, kind of like a lag type of day. What about a stag, guys? What about a stag, chat? Um, just put like the picture of a stag, because the market is stagnant, right? So like we're still making money. We're still making money because the premiums are decaying, right? Time is money, and that's what's running out. And the market is stagnant, but we're still getting paid. So I think that would be a great addition to the wall. Maybe a stag, right? So whenever you see the little stag right there with the antlers, you're like, sideways day, great. You cross your arms on those days. That's exactly what we do. We cross our arms and we make some bread. That's what I'm talking about. Anyhow, what else we got? Beach Boy is in Thailand. Thailand. I know for a fact that the gamblers paid for that trip. And if I know Beach Boy, I know he's not staying at a Motel 6. I know he's staying somewhere nice, probably the Four Seasons, maybe the Ritz, maybe the Waldorf Astoria, but I know he's not staying somewhere cheap for sure. And he does not travel alone. Like myself, he travels with his whole family. So I know that the gamblers have financed this trip, and I love it. John Harpster's in the house saying, good morning, people. John, good morning, my friend. Doughboy is in the house saying, good morning, dude. Good morning, Doughboy. Jude Case in the house. Jude, what is up, my dude? Bobby Atkinson saying, what time is it there, Beach Boy? You know what? I don't know, but I'm sure we can Google it. Jude K, morning to all in the chat. Jay Gill is in the house saying, good morning, all. Savage is live indeed. I am live. Good morning, my fellow simpletons, degenerates, near the wells, and scallywags all over the world. We are in Thailand today, and I know that for a fact. Um, Guys, we have a red day. It looks like all that market talk of um, of the uh, of the four rate cuts, three for sure, and then maybe a fourth one. That's done, right? I don't know, man. What a difference a couple of days made, right? Because 2 days ago they were talking about the economy steamrolling everything, and now we're talking about semiconductor tariffs are coming soon, and some could reach 300%. That is wild. Caterpillar, which is kind of the maker of tractors and farm equipment, John Deere, are basically counting the cost of tariffs and are telling us that there is soft demand out there for their products. This limits pricing power, right? So um, these tariffs have not even hit yet. That's the wild thing that most of them, Taco Boy has been kicking the can down the road, and as of right now, some tariffs have not even hit. They started, I think, August 6th. Some were moved up another 30 days. So it's very wishy-washy with the economy. Um, Earnings are, almost done when it comes to the companies that we look at, and most of them are telling us, forward guidance is down. They're not looking too happy about the numbers that are going to come in the next quarter because they're not going to be as high as this one or in the past. Why? Because the economy is softening up, right? We have, um, whether we want to accept it or not, some of us, I guess, are delusional, but whether we want to accept it or not, inflation is up. And if you don't have to go too far. Just look 2, 3 years ago. Look at what the gallon of milk was. Look at the price of eggs. Look at what the price of gas was. Look at just the pantry in general. Look at fruits, vegetables. Look at the price of meat, of chicken. Right? Um, Everything is up this year, and I know that you can definitely make a case and say, well, everything goes up over time, right? But not 60%, right? Not 70% in 2, 3 years, because wages are stagnant. And that's exactly the point, that people are not making more money, but they're spending more money for the same products, right? And that's what's driving the economy to cool off right now. So that's exactly what people have to prepare for. I think that the shoe is still to drop. We're getting whispers now of the forward guidance being down, but the numbers are not terrible just yet with these companies. You wait until these companies say that they're down 40, 50%, in the last year. That's gonna be pretty painful. At this moment, I think that the best course of action is just sit on cash as much as possible. Sell cover calls, right? Sell cover calls. I know you guys are holding on to stock that you buy cheap. Um, Sell cover calls, keep bringing that money in, right? And then all that premium you can save for a rainy day, or you can do cash secure puts whenever you see a company that you are, licking your chops to own, and it's a little bit expensive for your taste, but you know that it's going to come down to some uh, to a point where you kind of will start considering buying it. You can do a cash secure put right below that. So that way, if the economy goes down, 10%, and the stock goes down 10, 15%, you can be happy that you got it at a cheap price. And then you can do some more cash secure puts so that you can average down and buy it cheaper than that. That's how I was able to buy ridiculous amounts of SoFi, and I just kept going in and doing cash secure puts and getting put those shares, and then use that premium to buy shares at market price, and just kept going lower and lower, and my average went down to the sevens, right? But that's how you do it. You have to have a plan, and the plan has to be that you keep growing your portfolio, and then keep taking advantage of what the market is giving you. When we try to time the market, like my dumbass did with C3.ai a couple of days ago, I refused to sell some covered calls on C3, although C3.ai jumped 10% that day. Some of you guys outdid me, and you wrote some covered calls. I read it in the chat. Some people wrote 2020s and brought in a nice chunk of change. Those right now are worth maybe 40% less. And you guys can go and buy them back, and you made money on stock that you already have, on the promise that you may have sold it at a point for like $20. And those dreams are shattered now. The gamblers gave you that money for free, and you took advantage of it. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so let's see here. Gil Savage is live. Nice little pop on NU today. It says Kilua Drake. Kilua Drake, good morning. Yeah, I saw that, right? It's up, is it up like 10% or something like that? Let me see. Yeah, it was up, wow, it was up like 15, 16% this morning. It's now down to 11. But if you would have sold at 7 o'clock, 6:55, some covered calls and maybe a 15, you would have made a nice chunk of change. Even if you would have gone to like September and you would have sold some 15s, you would have got 37 cents. Those are now 15 cents, 50% in one day. Look at that. In one day, you would have made 50%. You would have gone to October, gotten a big chunk of change. The premiums are not that sexy within you, though. That's the reason why I don't really, I don't take a position on it, just because if you guys know me, you guys know that I like stock that brings you a nice chunk of change when it comes to premium. Unless it's a stock that I know is probably going to fly to like, well, I don't know, but like that I have a good due diligence on, and that I can see can hit, 10x or 7x at some point in the future, right? But for the most part, the stocks that I do buy are those that bring me in nice premiums. And the one thing about NU is the premiums are not that sexy. All right, let's see here. What else do we got? We have Galaxy is down 8.3%. Open is up 8.5%. PROP is up almost 9%. So there's the opportunity right there. You could write cover calls on PROP if you like. Bobby Atkinson is saying buy power will always continue to drop. Never-ending struggle for the new generation. Average is 2%. Cost of living increases. Cannot keep up compared to year-over-year housing and goods increases. I'm guessing you're saying. So yes, I agree. I think that 2% is kind of a conservative number. Things go up, I think, a lot more than 2%. But I think that's the benchmark that the powers that be like to give you, so that they don't give you a raise that's like 20, 30%, as they should. They say, well, adjusting for inflation every 3 years, they give you a raise. They're like, we'll give you an 8% raise. And you're like, oh my God, 8%. But it's like, it's, every 3 years, every 4 years. So they basically just meeting inflation. So you're still making less. The whole point of getting, raises to like, go above that, right? And like handsomely. And they, that's that's the benchmark that they use, so that they can keep costs down, right? At least as far as payroll, which is pretty crappy. AOI is up to 22.50 today, 22.25. It was up to 22.78 this morning. And if you guys were listening in the past day, I said people AOI, I think yesterday was at $20 at a time or at some point. And I said, guys, it would not be a terrible thing to sell some covered call or some cash secure puts in this puppy. And I actually sold one cash secure put, a $20 cash secure put expiring September 19th. And guess what? That puppy is up almost 20% right now in one day. I got 185 for it. and it's 150 at this point. And I'm gonna just let it sit. I'm gonna let it sit, and I'm gonna see if I get put those shares, because I really want to start a position on this and have the shares, and I'm gonna dare the market. That's why I went in the money yesterday, because I think it was at $20. It had come down, I think 10%, and I went to 20, and I said, you know what, 20 is fine with me. Usually, I like to go one strike zone below. I should have gone to 19, but I really want the shares. So I said, you know what, 20% is $20 is cool with me. I'm gonna go out to um, September. I got almost 10%, right? I'm sitting pretty at this point because AAOI is now 22.29, and I'm just gonna let it sit, and I'm gonna let that time do whatever time does, which is decay, and I'm gonna dare the market to put those shares in my portfolio so that I can start a position. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm gonna wait for a day when it comes down again to like 2021, and then I'll do a cash and put right there, in the money or at the money, and I'm gonna ask for another 10%, and then I'm gonna dare them to put those shares, you know, uh, in my portfolio. And if that doesn't happen, then I'll keep doing it, and I'll keep bringing in premium, and that's how we're gonna play that. I do have a couple of $20 cash secure puts, but these are expiring January, and I believe I got like 450 and 430 for those. I did, and so at this point, those are $4, so I'm up on those, and I'm just gonna let time do its thing. I'm gonna dare the market to come and get me. GME it's GME is doing what GME does, which is just nothing. It just stays flat and just it trades this channel between $22 and $23 the past month or two, right? And I mean, we want it to break that pattern, right? Either to the upside or the downside, so that we can either make some good money with cash secure puts, or sell some covered calls and bring in a nice little premium. But things are what they are, and I'm done being in the sidelines, not riding my uh, on my shares. So a few days ago, I told you guys I sold 5 covered calls expiring in September, and those puppies are now they've now given me more than $60, which is 7%. And I just wrote those a couple of days ago, so I'm already up 7%. I'm daring the market to take them. $23 covered calls. I don't care. Take it. Give me the money. Give me the money so that I can put it elsewhere, right? And I may start trimming on my GME. I don't know. My cost average is very low. It's so at that point I'm just I may just trim 50% of my overall ownership, I guess, of GME, and bring in that cash to do something else, because there's other stock that's generating better premiums at this point, and I can use that cash, especially if we're gonna hit a nice little rough patch with the economy. I like to be sitting as much cash as possible. So AI is down a bit today, only 0.5%, right? But if you think about it, a couple of days ago, we were at almost $19, and I was bullish, and I was a knucklehead. I definitely thought we were going to go to 20 by today, and I was wrong. I was wrong, and I'm kicking myself in the head right now, because I should have written some covered calls. So I want to wait for another day of like a 5% pop, and then I want to sell some probably some 20s or 21s, and try to bring in some premium that route. But I mean, it did have week quarter one results. The CEO leaving the company, it doesn't help. But I think whoever he taps is going to be somebody that's that has a good pulse on what the company, needs to do and where it needs to go. And it's still a good company. The metrics are good. The uh, the financials could be a little better, but I mean, we've been here before, and I think it's just a matter of time. and knowing what you hold, and then just in the meantime, right, just sell covered calls so that you can justify it being in your portfolio. And I should have written covered calls and I didn't because I'm a knucklehead. Let's see. Karen D is in the house. Karen D, what's up? Saying hi, Savage and fellow simpletons and degenerates. That's right. Good morning, my friend. Kilua Dre saying, yeah, I don't write on NU either. They suck. I just own the shares outright. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, like I said, if it's one that you have a very good outlook on and you're bullish on and you know that it's going to pop at some point and you could trim your position as soon as it pops, I think that's great. There's companies like that. There's companies like that for sure. Moneymaker Juan is in the house saying, good morning, fellow simpletons. What's up, my dude? I hope you're doing well. Mark C is in the house saying, support Savage morning, yo. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Subscribe if you're a first-time watcher. And don't mind sharing. I don't mind if you guys share my my videos with other people, especially those like-minded individuals that are curious to see what the stock market brings you, right? Because at the end of the day, my goal is to make 100 millionaires that watch this channel regularly, and that's going to be the goal, man. So hopefully you guys are en route to becoming a millionaire yourself. Even if you're starting, doesn't matter. You can start with as little as like $100 and one covered call or one cash secured put, for sure. That's how it all starts. It just takes one. But definitely do your due diligence and look at companies that you're looking at so that you're not just throwing your money away. Put your money on companies that you yourself use, right? For example, Lyft. Lyft is having a good day. I know that. I noticed. I think a couple of days ago, somebody in the chat said that they were waiting on Uber to make to start a position. They were like, I think they mentioned Uber and it maybe having a down day and then starting a position. I said, well, Uber's it's kind of where it should not be. I think it's overvalued, but I mean, it is what it is. However, I said Lyft is 1/10 the price. Lyft is 1/10 the price, and they do the same thing. And Lyft has not had as many contracts, but they're working on a lot. I think partnerships are going to be the key. But Lyft went from being, I think, the last week it was 13.25 at a point during the week. Today, it's 15.72. Now remember, I said, people, if you're gonna take a chance on Lyft, if you would like to take a chance on Lyft, do some cash secure puts, do some 13s or 14s, right? Those are down today. Those will be down probably like 25-30% today. You would have made that, and you could take that money off the table, or you could just dare the market to come back down and take you out and give you 100 shares of Lyft. But it looks like it's got some analyst attention. They're going to have some board changes, and they have steady partnership plans to boost investor focus today. So, I mean, they must have some good information out there. But I like Lyft. I actually use it. I use it myself, and I think it's a good company. I think it's undervalued at this point, but it's all about partnerships, right? Mr. Luck is in the house. Saint Savage. Bobby Atkinson, a Beach Boy is telling Bobby it is 22:41. So I'm gonna guess that's 10 p.m. 10:41 p.m. Cindy B is in the house saying, Savage, how you doing? I'm doing great, Cindy. Just looking at the market right now and how our Savage stocks are doing. I'm trying to see where the opportunity lies this morning. And I am seeing that TerraWolf is down today. Well, it was down actually 5-6% this morning, and now it's starting to come back up, starting to creep up. So remember yesterday it was up like I don't know 40% or something ridiculous. great day to sell some cover calls. So if you're into Wolf and you didn't sell cover calls yesterday, you're slapping yourself on the wrist today because it's down. And this is exactly what the market does, right? It goes up and then goes down. It goes up and then goes down. We like to take advantage of it going up, and we like to take advantage of it when it comes down. It's very simple, right? The discipline should be very, very simple. But for some reason, people in Wall Street make it sound like it's just this whole ordeal. Like, this is something that only the wise and the few can do. Like, if you didn't go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Columbia, then you're not going to understand this because it's way over your head. They want to justify their $4, $5, $6 million a year salary, right? And they'll throw all this jargon at you. Um, I read a lot of investing books, and then there's some first persons views in there when it comes to like anecdotes and stuff. These guys, the words that they use is like they just, gosh, it's so complicated, right? And they try to make it seem so complex, and like they use all these mechanical terms, right? And if you don't understand them, then you're stupid. But it's like it's so simple. Like, the market goes up, you sell a covered call. If the market goes down, you sell a cash secure put, and you wait for it to come up so that you can close your position on the cash secure put. And if the cover call that you sold was at the top and the market comes down, then you close your position on the covered call. That's it. That is it. It's so simple. Yet for some reason, these guys like to treat us as dumb money, right? That's what they call us, dumb money. And I think we're anything but. And I love the fact that people are here, engaged, and they're talking about selling covered calls, cash secure puts, even spreads, which I'm not really going to talk about much on my channel, but I think it's great as long as you're generating revenue and you're using your money to make you more money. That's the name of the game. Let's see. Cindy B saying, "Hey Savage, how you doing?" And I said, "What's up?" Mr. Lucky saying, "So, $25 GME cash secure puts for January, and how could put credit spreads? I'm folding my arms for earnings." LFG, let's freaking go, my friend, for sure. I like those, Mr. Lucky. I like those $25 cash secure put out to January. Not the worst thing. You probably got $3, $4, $5 for it, so you're really realistically buying at $20 or $21 a share. I see nothing wrong with that. Seem to be saying, "What do you think of USAR? It's another rare mineral company I'd be writing puts on." I don't know. Let's see. USAR. I've actually heard it before. It's down almost 4% right now. It was down 7% earlier on. It's USA Rare Earth Incorporated is domestic supplier of rare earth magnets and heavy rare earth elements. It is developing a vertically integrated domestic supply chain of rare earth elements, magnet production with a facility in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and mining rights to the round top heavy rare earth and critical minerals deposit in West Texas. That was rough to read. But yeah, the 52-week low is 556. The 52-week high is exactly at $20. We're at 17. You're too close to the 52-week high. I wouldn't touch it right now. It's too close to the 52-week high. If it got down to, like, I guess $10, $11, then I'd like to be closer to the 52-week low than the 52-week high when I do cash secure puts. Unless it's a company that I know for a fact it deserves to be where it's at. I don't know much about this company. I'm just saying you're too close to the 52-week high. So I would steer clear off of it. But if you're making money, that's what matters. As long as you're making money, that's what matters. You've been trading this maybe a long time, and you know how it moves, and I think that's great. That's one of the things about writing options is that some people write options and feel comfortable writing options on companies that they've been trading for a few years just because um, they familiarize themselves with that company, and you start seeing trends, right? And so that's how you make that money, and I see nothing wrong with that. Mr. Lucky saying for those wanting to do credit spreads, Snap is at yearly lows, and near the money put credit spreads are printing dinero. Yeah, I would stay clear of a Snapchat, my man. It's just it's very niche, and there's too many damn commercials. I talked about it yesterday. Facebook, Snap, um, not my favorite. I just think that there's so much more opportunity elsewhere. If you're gonna go into Snap, then you might as well go into I don't know, if you're gonna go into like apps, right? What's an app that like OnlyFans? I think OnlyFans is generating ridiculous amounts of money, and they have they don't have that many associates. So I mean, I don't let me tell you what to do, but I personally would not. I steer clear of a snap. Clear of a snap. Um, put your money elsewhere. There's just so much more going on. Like right now, C3.ai is such a cheap value. Um, I mean, Snap is 724, right? I don't know, man. It's 52. It's close to the 52-week low. I mean, I get it. I get it. I just companies don't have that much cash on hand right now, right? I mean, there's a lot of debt, and the companies that do have a lot of cash on hand, they're kind of tight on letting it go at this moment because they don't know what the economy is going to do. So, and it's one of those companies that marketing they rely heavily on marketing, right? But if companies are not willing to spend as much money on marketing, um, I mean, the revenue is just going to go down at that point, right? And so that tells you where we are. Companies are just not willing to spend that much more money on marketing when they could be spending that money on infrastructure, right? And making themselves leaner and more efficacious, right? And faster and adopting AI models in their systems. I mean, all that stuff. QBTS. Let's see, QBTS. QBTS was down like I want to say like 8%, 9%. It was. It's now $17. It was at 16.40, 16.50. Okay. I like QBTS. That's my quantum. One of my quantum plays. I sold the cash secure put at $18 cash secure. I sold a couple actually, but this one is it's going to expire in January. I brought in a $475 for the $18 one, and I am my break even price is $13.25. Right now we're like $4 away from that, right? Because it's a 17. So I'm just gonna dare the market to put those shares in my portfolio. Um, and it's the overall market is down right now, and I think that's kind of what's going on. It's contagion, right? So everything is down. So I think people are taking a lot of profits. Algos hit, and that's what happens, right? It's Friday, option expiry day. A lot of things have to settle, so people are just trying to cover, and raise some cash. Quite frankly, right? QUBT. What is QUBT doing today? QUBT is flat. QUBT is flat. It's at $15 at this point. I have a $18 cash secure put that is 530. That's what they gave me, $530, and expires in January. So right now, it's 530. So it's trading sideways for me, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm daring the market to give me those shares, and we'll make a decision later on in December or maybe November to see what we do with that cash secure put. As of right now, I'm folding my arms. VBAI, BBAI is down 1.5%. It was down close to 5% earlier on. It's recovering a bit, and right now, you could have written some cash secure puts on it this morning. Right now, it's kind of settling, but this morning you could have done some $5 cash secure puts and brought in 59 cents, 60 cents per share. Not terrible. You would be up like 5% at this point, 5 to 10% on the recovery. So not terrible at all. And I think if you were to bring in a nice chunk of change on BBAI, maybe looking at the $5 cash secure puts on it, going out to January, that would bring you in a few dollars. I think that would be cool. Not bad. Let's see here. Rivian, what is Rivian doing this morning? Rivian was up a little bit this morning, was up like 2%. It's starting to come down. So, it's going to trade in this channel for a little bit between 1150 to 1250. And this is a good time to go in with some cash secure puts on a red day. Go in the money or at the money. If it's at 1150, write some 11s out 2-3 months. Try to bring in 10%, and then just wait for those puts to get assigned. If not, then do it again. When you get your collateral back, that's how you play that one. Roblox is taking a hit today. Roblox is down 10%, and that's great. I'm still way underwater on my covered calls, but anything helps, right? So Roblox is down to $115. If it can get down to the 70s, I would appreciate that. But we'll see what happens, man. Roblox is $115 right now. That's what the market is telling us, and I don't recommend any. It's too expensive. I don't recommend anyone from the chat to go into Roblox right now. Let's see here. What do we have? Charlie's in the house. Charlie, good morning, everyone. Is saying good morning, Charlie. How are you? Misty James of the Misty Tree's in the house. Misty Tree Woodcraft. Ahoy, Lucky 15. Misty Tree, what is up? Charlie C2 is in the house saying good morning, y'all. Good morning. Ricardo Canales is in the house saying savage. Good morning, my friend. Missy saying Louisiana filed a lawsuit against Roblox. I saw that. Basically endangering child exploitation and child endangerment, right? It does not. That's the same thing that you might as well sue Instagram. You might as well sue Snapchat, Facebook. It's the list goes on and on. Like if you're gonna blame somebody else for your child being endangered online, you could do the same thing with PlayStation, right? The same thing with Microsoft and the Xbox. It's just it doesn't hold any water, because at the end of the day, you should be responsible for what your children are watching. You should be the person that monitors, the content that they're downloading or uploading into the ether, right? And I don't think that you suing a company that is making money, obviously, it's going to fare well, because they're just providing a service, right? And this is the same thing that I tell people that are pro Second Amendment and pro family is. And I'm just a personal view that I'm okay having a gun, right? I'm okay with people exercising the Second Amendment rights. Is there for a reason. If you don't like guns, don't buy one. It's that simple. Now, you could not like other people having access to them. That's fine. But when you start infringing upon people's rights, freedom of expression, and so on and so forth, that's kind of where we get into a slippery slope, right? It's the same thing that I say with abortions, right? I personally don't think you should use them as a form of contraception. I may not agree with them. However, if you don't like abortions, don't have one. And that's it. It's very simple, right? It sounds like people are just trying to look for stuff to like um get into like a confrontation over. But at the end of the day, it's just if we truly are a free country, you know, are you gonna go and are you gonna sue the company of like a knife company because a kid brought a knife to school and hurt another child? I mean, are you going to sue the automobile company because a kid that's 15 years old that knows how to drive used that car to go meet someone and got in trouble? I mean, that's basically the prerogative there, right? That's my argument. And I'm saying just it's up to the parents. You have to parent, and I know that some people find a hard time. They have a hard time being parents. They have a hard time telling their children no. For whatever reasons, they have a hard time giving them a nice spank on the butt sometimes. And sometimes children need, guidance that is firm. And sometimes they need a pat on the back, right? Sometimes they need you to tell them that you love them and that you're proud of them. Sometimes they need you to tell them that, they're overstepping their boundaries and they're going to get a nice little smack in their backside. I mean, you have to be a parent. There is no book that tells you how you personally can be a better parent. You can only do your best, right? And I think that suing a Roblox because your child was endangered or put it into a situation that was terrible because you didn't monitor their content. That's being a lazy parent. That's just trying to place blame and trying to not feel that you're responsible for what happened to that child, which you 100% are as a parent, right? And you shit the bed as a parent. That's what happens, and so that's just how I feel about that. Um, so White Feather is in the house saying, "Hey, Savage, I hope you're feeling better." You know what? I had a rough night again yesterday. Um, at a point, I think like around midnight, I took a muscle relaxer. I took a pain pill. I took an anti-inflammatory, and I put some ice, and I was still hurting. So that tells me right there that it may not be a muscle, it may be something else, man. It may be a pinched nerve because those are a whole different beast. Those you could take as many pain pills as you want, but a nerve is a whole different thing. And I'm going to talk to my physical therapist today. I'm actually going to go there in the next few hours, and I'm going to tell her that whatever it is that we did on Tuesday, um, one of those exercises really got me because the last few days, have been a bit painful. So we're gonna try to navigate that today. And right now as we speak, I'm sitting on ice, but it's calming a bit. It's definitely a lot better than it was last night. But I fear it's one of those injuries where it rears its ugly head at night, right? I don't know why. I don't know if it's something to do with our position in the sun or the moon. For those of you that believe that stuff, I don't know. I just know that I was very uncomfortable and I tossed and turned. And I was able to go to sleep around 1 a.m., from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., and then the pain woke me up. I stretched a little bit. I found a little area that it didn't hurt. So when I stretched, it actually felt comfortable. And I did the heating pad for like 15 minutes, and then I passed out again until 6. So from 3 a.m. to like 6. And that's it. And I've been awake ever since, but I could have definitely slept a little more. It was not as terrible as the night prior, right? But it sucks because you need rest when you have an injury like the one I do. And I'm not getting much rest because that pain is it's a really silly pain, man. It's kind of dull. It's from a 1 to a 10, it's like a 3 or a 4. So it's not like a sharp, acute pain, right? But it's just a constant, like just pain. And because it's so constant, it's aggravating, and it man, it made me want to just smack myself on the hamstring and on the butt and be like, just take that, just get better. I don't know, man, but it does. It's debilitating. It's definitely debilitating. And so we'll see what happens. I'm positive about today, and then maybe I can see the doctor because my physical therapist and doctor are like in the same building. So maybe I can swing by and tell the physical therapist if she can maybe talk to the nurse and see if they can see me for a little bit because I may need new medication. The one that I have is not helping. So I don't know. I may need something stronger, I guess. Um, I didn't think it was that bad when I hurt my back, man. I'll tell you that right now. But but it just goes to show you, sometimes something that doesn't seem that significant, and it's like a muscle sprain or a pull, and it just as the day wears out, right? It really nags on you, and then you feel it. Anyway, so thank you for asking, though. I appreciate it. I hopefully will be better. So thank you, White Feather. Misty is saying, I concur. Sounds like the 80s satanic panic with heavy metal and video games. Yeah, man, I like some metal, and I definitely like my video games. So I let my kids play video games. I even let them watch some scary movies. I mean, the shit that's out there, right? Like in the ether, it's so much more significant and so much scarier than anything that I can monitor. I mean, we caught my daughter in some chat. My wife did last week, and we took away her phone for a week, and we took away her laptop. She knew she was in the shit house because her little brother just went in and grabbed her laptop playing and gave it to my wife, I guess. And my wife was like, "Don't grab that. That's your sister's." And she grabbed it from him, and then she just happens to, I guess she closed the window that my son had accidentally popped up. But when she closed that window, she saw the back of the was behind that browser, and it was something that was just not a chat that my daughter should have been having. And then she kind of said, "Well, I was just talking to AI and asking some questions," and like she knew she was wrong because as soon as my wife said, "You know what? You're grounded," she said, I know. I'm sorry. I was just curious." And so, anyways, sometimes even if you are on top of it, kids are sneaky, and it could be one of those where, like, I mean, we're lucky she was just chatting with Chat GPT, but what if it would have been somebody else, right? So that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's just you have to parent, and sometimes it's wonderful being a parent, and you can be in a commercial, like a family commercial, right? For like some pizza commercial or like uh, some life insurance commercial and or something. But sometimes it's not, man. And sometimes it's parenting can be difficult, and you have to make tough choices. And you love your kids and you want what's best for them. But sometimes loving your kids means that you're going to have to be the bad person, and they're going to not like you very much. But it's okay. Because at the end of the day, one day they'll be old enough to realize that you were doing the best that you can, and then you were just, you want what's better for them, right? You want them to be safe. Moneymaker Juan saying, "That's right. I will regularly jump in games that my kids are into to see what is going on." Yeah, no, that's the right thing to do. Moneymaker Juan is also saying, "Nobody will parent your kids better than yourself." I agree. I agree. It's hard being a good parent. It's easy being a shitty parent, and that's the thing. You want to be a good parent. I'm trying to raise some decent human beings, and I know sometimes I'm a bit strict with them, but it's who I am. And at the end of the day, I was raised a specific way, and my parents were very strict with me. Um, they had their reasons. Sometimes I hated it, but now as I get older, when I got older, I understood. I was like, that's why. they did this. That's why. And I told my mom, I'm so grateful you were so tough with me because I know it must not been easy. Um, but I think I turned out well, and I would like my kids to one day be like, you know what, my dad was tough. My dad was strict, but like I see why, and I'm glad I turned out all right. That's basically it. And then they can teach their kids, the same values, and then use the same tactics that you used. And some are going to be good, some are going to be not good, but you do what you can, right? All right. So, White Feather is saying, should I sue the pencil maker when I spell a word wrong? Exactly. You know what I mean? Or should you sue them if your kids were to like draw somebody naked, right? Like, I don't know. Like, it's where do we stop? And that's the thing. Parents have to be parents. You have to parent. Um, CKT saying Roblox 110 cash secure put for 1017 already up 12% in a few hours. Rolled this morning for 779. That's good. That's good. I mean, it's a little too expensive for my taste now. I got into Roblox when it was in the 20s, so I thought it was cool then, even in the 30s. But now it's a little too expensive for my taste. I'm looking for the next Roblox at this point, and that's exactly why I research the way I research, and that's exactly why I'm always here, right? And we're talking about stuff, and we're exchanging ideas. At the end of the day, that's exactly why we trade. And now at this point, I'm looking for my next Palantir. I'm looking for my next Roblox. I'm looking for the next SoFi. Although SoFi really hasn't, um, it hasn't gotten to where its potential should be. SoFi should be $40 a share. But anyways, it is where it is, right? Um, and I'm looking for the next SMCI, uh, for the next Rocket Lab, right? So I mean, there's always another stock. That's why when some of you guys get down on yourselves because of a specific company and saying you missed the boat, and don't feel bad, man, because there's always another stock. There's Right now we should be looking for the next Nvidia, right? And the next Nvidia is going to be a quantum stock. I'm telling you right now, the next generation is going to be the quantum stocks, and that's exactly why I am. You don't have to be just in one. For some reason, some people are like, you have to have that one quantum stock, Nvidia or AMD, right? Why not both? They're competitors, yes, but like, why not both? Own them both. There's nothing wrong with that. One went way higher than the other, yes, but at the end of the day, they both went up. Why not both? Duh, right? Amazon or Walmart or Costco. Why not all three? That's it. Apple or Microsoft, right? Have them both. Make money. Become a freaking millionaire. 100 of you out there. You're somewhere out there in the world. Who's gonna be the next Beach Boy, right? Who's gonna be the next uh uh Jesus Christ? Why can't I remember his name? Um Hurricane Lopez. The next Hurricane Lopez, who's actually killing the market for like 20 years. This guy is just a multimillionaire at this point. Um, let's see here. Dude is saying, let's go. White Feather saying, I've had custody of my son since he was 9. You're absolutely right. It's not easy. It's not easy to be a good parent, White Feather. Not easy at all. And sometimes you'll even question yourself. Am I doing this right? And that tells you you're doing good because you're questioning yourself. Nobody that's a shitty parent who would ask themselves that of themselves, right? Sometimes it means smacking their ass for being disrespectful or putting themselves in a harmful position. But all right, ASTS is sitting at $48. If you were looking to get into ASTS, which I think if you have an extra $5,000, it's so easy to say it, right? Going to October right now, and selling a cash secure put in the 45 area. It's bringing you 450. That means that $450 will be put into your account. The ask is at 455, bid is at 445. Yeah, 450 would work for a $45 cash secure put expire in October. You could do a January cash secure put, 45, same strike, and bring in $8. You know, not quite 20%, but if you're looking to put those shares, not the worst thing in the world. If you're looking at ASTS, you know, I would have mean this morning was down 2%. You know what? I think it's going to come down. I think there's room to the downside. I think it's going to come down to 45 or maybe a little lower. I think you should wait. Things have to happen, right? But if it comes down to 45, you could do some $40 cash secure puts down to January and try to bring in $8, 20% or more. That would be good. That would be good. Riot is it's down today, 7.5% almost. Well, look at that. Opportunity knocks, man. October 17th, cash secure puts. Let's look at these. $11 cash secure puts. The stock's at 11.34. If you're looking to get into Riot, and if you like Bitcoin, if you like altcoins, there's no reason why this should not be on your portfolio. You know, $11 cash secure put. Ask for 110. Stinker. 110, 115, 120. 110 gives you 10%. So $11 cash secure put, bring in 10%, right? And then you're gonna get if you were to place those shares in your account, you would be getting Riot for under $10 a share. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. That's actually a good right. Do you want to get some more cash for the same amount of money? You could do $11 cash secure puts out to January 2026. Stinker 175, bring in $175. $175 to put $1,100 on escrow and wait for January. Worst things have happened. I'm sure you've done way more boneheaded moves, and you'd be getting the shares basically at $9.25. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. At all. Riot is down. I will take care of that. I already have cash secure puts for Riot on, but like if someone out there has a couple of $100, I mean $1,100, you know, you could pay yourself $110 today, right now, for your troubles, for waking up this morning and having a portfolio. SMCI is down 2.5% today. It was down almost 3% this morning. SMCI is coming. I had some $45 cash covered calls that I sold. I have some 40, some 45, some 50s that I sold out to 2027, and I brought in like $15, $16 in premiums for those covered calls, and those are looking wonderful. But I'm just gonna let the time just do what it does, which is just happen. I'm just gonna let time decay, and I'm gonna let those covered calls just eat away at that data and have it burn. And ask me in June 2026 where I'm at with these, and I may actually buy them back then. I may have a 66, 70%, or I may be underwater, in which case I'll roll them. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm all about bringing in premium and more premium and more premium. That's how I roll, my friends. What is Archer doing today? Archer was down 5% this morning. You could have done some. Well, you still could, you know, technically. $9 cash secure puts. The stock is at $9.89. You could bring $70. Put a stinker of $70 or $68. or 68 cents, I mean, for a $9 cash secure put out to October 17th. Premium, not that sexy. The IV is only 69. You could go to the $10 cash secure put for 120 and get Archer under $9, which would be 880. There to put those $10 cash secure puts, bring in 12% for October. Nothing wrong with that at all. 12% out to October is nothing wrong with that at all, my friends. Let's see. Unity, UNITY. It's down 3% this morning. It's 37.38 at this point. Let's see here. Some October calls. Well, not sexy. If you wanted to write a call, today's not the day. But if you missed the boat, you could write some 40s out to October, bring in $315. As for 315, nothing wrong with that. $315 for holding Unity. You're getting $4,000 if the shares get taken away on October 17th, or you're getting your shares back. But for that, you're getting $315. So not terrible at all. Cash secure puts wise. Well, I like to wait for at least a 5% drop, right? But if you really wanted it, if you really, really wanted your Unity shares, you could sell a put. It's 37.40. It's down 2.5% today. So say you wanted it to go down a little more and you wanted it to buy at 35. You could do $35 cash secure puts and bring in $2.62 per share. That's $262. So you're essentially buying it for under $33 a share. It's 37. That's a swing of like 450. I mean, yeah. Do you want to be a little more cavalier and do $37 because you would buy it right now this second where it's at? Do $37 cash secure puts for October and bring in 360, almost 10%. You know, why not? Worst things have happened. White feather say, oh yeah. White feather saying, thankfully, my son is 28 now. That's awesome. I'm sure he's a fine young man. Let's see here. Neo is up 6% today. I'm sitting on like 100 calls, $15 strikes, expiring January 2027, which I don't advise you guys to buy them. But it's this was kind of casino money, so I'm just daring the market, and I've given myself enough time to where anything can happen, right? And it gives the stock time to recover, or it gives me time to kind of figure out what I want to do, right? It's a year and a half out, those calls, and I paid on average 33 cents for them, which is not terrible. They're 33 cents right now. So I'm even Steven. I'm going to wait for it to pop maybe a lot more. And if it gets close to $5 a share at some point, which I think it will, $6 a share, then I want to, consider maybe trimming like, 50 of them and bringing in some cash. And then if it runs again, trimming 25 and bringing in more cash. And at that point, I'll probably have my cost basis, and I'll just let those 25 run and see what happens. And in 2026, if it so happens that Neo runs a lot, then great. And if it doesn't, then great. SoFi was down a bit today, huh? SoFi was down to 22.60, and it's 23.74 or 23.25 right now. That's a nice little swing. For those of you guys that wrote some covered calls on SoFi, that's wonderful. You probably were able to cash in, buy them back, or you wrote some cash secure puts. You could have written some 22s and made a couple of dollars that way. RX was looking wonderful like around 7:45 a.m. It's starting to backtrack a bit. I have so many cash secure puts that are expiring September 19th. I have $6 strikes. And I'm daring the market to put those shares in my account, man. I'm waiting, for them to either put those shares in my account or give me back, my $12,000. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm eager. I also have some $7 cash secure puts, which I'm waiting for a little bit more. I'm waiting for like 2 more weeks to eat away at that data, right? And then when the intrinsic value makes sense, I'm probably gonna roll those sevens to sixes out in January so that I can get my some of my premium back, and hopefully I'll get some of my collateral back, and then bring in premium. That would be ultimate. That would be the ultimate thing to do. Like, hopefully, if it stays in this channel, and I see RXRX staying between 550 and 6. But once it goes through 6 and it breaks through it, if it can hold it a day or two, it's going to 7 or 8. And that's kind of what it does, right? The premiums are really good on RXRX. Today is not a day for cash secure puts. Yesterday was a day for cash secure puts. But if you were to write cash secure puts on it, the October $5 strikes are not terrible. And they're bringing in, 45 cents at this moment. So almost 10%. The stock would have to come down another 66 cents. So more than 10%. And then you could think about maybe, having those shares put on your account. But so much time between now and October 17th, man. That's why I also like 2-3 months, because it gives you time to like digest what's happening. And it doesn't put me in a position where I'm like caught flat-footed, right, and have to exit a position or roll, like forced me to roll, right? Like, I'm not forced, and I don't like that. SOXS is up today, which is good. That's my direction daily semiconductor bear leveraged position on semiconductors. So when semiconductors are down, this is up. So that's good. I'm going to keep holding. I have 600 shares. And I'm going to hold those because I honestly think these puppies are going to go to $20. I really do think that these puppies are going to $20. But, I'm going to wait for, if I add to my position, I'm going to wait for it to go under 6. If it goes to like 550, I may add another 400 shares to average down. But at this point, it is where I want it to be. I own the shares. This is not a call. And I'm just 52-week lows, is what I like. The 52-week low is 640. It's 696 right now. I'm waiting for it to break the 52-week low and go to like under $6. That's when I'm going to start adding some more. GME is down today a bit, but it's just, again, we talked about it, and I'm loving the fact that I wrote some covered calls expiring September. Let's see here. Riot is down. Lucid is down. Open is up. Open is up, huh? Open is up like almost 10%. So for you guys that wrote some cash secure puts on it, good for you. Let's see here. Misty Tree Woodcraft is saying one cash secure put on you for October just sold at $360, $37 strike. That's great. That's almost 10%. Yeah. Was that you? If you sold that cash secure put, I see nothing wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with that at all. That's great. And if the stock for whatever reasons tries to come down to like the $35 land, the closer you get to expiry, right? Say you're like in October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever, and it's down like at 34, 35, you're going to be very close, to, I mean, you're basically in the money, but those may get put to you at some point. Sometimes they do that, especially if brokerages are closing people down and calling people a margin. So I would definitely roll those to like 2026, and go down another couple of months and try to bring in, instead of being at the 37s, go to 35s. You would probably bring in another 50, 60 cents, if not a dollar of premium. So you basically be recovering $200 of collateral. You're now up ahead. The stock, that you're gonna get put are now is 35 instead of 37, and you got a dollar in premium or thereabouts. Like, what is wrong with that? And now, let's say for whatever reasons, in January the stock is at 34, $33. You can then roll to like March, right? And then go down to 34 or $33 and bring in more premium and get more collateral back. That's how you play this game, you know. And I see nothing wrong with that. And on the other side, right? Conversely, let's say Unity's $45 in October or November. You can close those out at 50% easily. Easily. Good job. PROP is up 11% today, huh? Well, well, well. Well, well, well. Thing is that there's not, the $5 calls are $30 at this point, huh? 30 cents. You can ask for 35. That's great. It's a $2.81 stock, and you're basically saying I want to sell it for $5, but you have to go to March. I wonder when they're going to open up November, December, and January. I'm just going to hold at this point. Let's see here. Ethereum is down 5%. I like it. It seems like all the crypto is down. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And today, coincidentally, is the Donald Trump meeting with Putin up in Alaska, right? So let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. I'm very eager to see what happens with this meeting. What are they talking about? We do know that the Fed's next decision just got harder because a new wholesale inflation report raises questions on whether higher prices for businesses will be passed on to consumers. Duh. Where do you think that money's going to come from? Companies are not going to keep eating the cost. That's not how this works. And this is hilarious to me how AMD and NVIDIA are going to pay an extra 15% tariff tax, right? That's on top of all the other business expenses and business tax. That's crazy. But the government said they're going to meddle into a private firm's financials, and they're saying they're going to start buying Intel chips, right? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. But anyways, yeah. So with the way that all these canaries in a coal mine are telling us, well, all of these red flags are telling us that there may not be a rate cut in September. And if there is no rate cut in September, a couple of days ago there was like a 95% chance of rate cuts. And if there is no rate cuts, then it's gonna be interesting. This is why you want to be sitting on so much cash, or as much cash as possible, because you don't want to get caught flat-footed. Yeah. Let's see here. Investors temper Ukraine hopes ahead of Trump and Putin meeting. AI startup Cohere, valued at $6.8 billion in latest fundraiser, appoints new executives. Meta is up half a point. NVIDIA is up 10 basis points. The S&P 500 is lagging. It's pretty much even. The Dow 30 is nothing burger. NASDAQ is at 21,713, which is unchanged. Russell 2000 is down 1.6%. So we're seeing that the mid caps are the ones taking it on the chin today a bit. The VIX is up so slightly, and gold is down almost 1%. So I mean that's what we have in the markets, guys. You know, it doesn't take a rocket science to tell us, what's going to happen. What's going to happen with the economy, where they think we're heading, right? The experts. And 2 days ago, these are the same guys that were telling us that that people needed to get into the stock market because it's opportunity out there, and the market is going to go to 50,000 on the Dow Jones, right? And I think somebody had mentioned the S&P being at like 10,000, and the Nasdaq hitting 25,000, and it's just like, dude, like where are you getting these numbers, right? So, anyways, it's very interesting what's going on. But alas, here is where we are. Just so you guys know, Monday I have a couple of meetings with the doctor, and I got a physical therapy appointment in the morning. So I'm not going to be able to go live in the morning on Monday, but I may go in the afternoon. So, like around 2 p.m., maybe. If that's the case, I'll send you guys an alert. And, we're going to talk about, the day, what happened on Monday morning, how to play it. I'm probably going to go live on Sunday night, kind of to give you guys the pulse of the market. And we're going to basically see, pre-trading, right, the pre-market, and see what Asia is doing. And then we're able to have a little more of an educated guess on where the market may go. We're obviously not trying to time the market, but we are reacting to it, right? So, yeah, I don't know what time I'm going on Sunday yet, but I'm thinking maybe 3 p.m., 4 p.m. on Sunday, West Coast time. So that'll be like mid 6 or 7 p.m. on East Coast time. So maybe 5 p.m. 5 p.m. would be cool, because that way it'll be 8 p.m. in the East Coast. It'll be 5 p.m. here, kind of before dinner time, right? And I'll go in for I'll go on for like half an hour to an hour. We're gonna look at what the pre-market's doing, the Asian markets are doing, and then we're able to maybe look at kind of where we're at on the stock market and the savage stocks, see what they're doing, see what they're priced at, and have some plans, right? Like I may say, if the stock market goes down tomorrow, let's look at SoFi $20 cash secure puts. If SoFi gets down to $21, 21.50, 20.50. If Unity comes down to like $35, $34, look at $33 cash secure puts, $32 cash secure puts for like October or January, stuff like that, right? And in that way, you guys can have like a little bit of an idea, and make a better plan as to how to approach Monday. Because I won't be live. I'll be at the doctor's, and I probably won't be trading because I'm going to be on a bed where they're doing like electrotherapy and all that stuff, and giving me like a massage of my like lower back and my thigh, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm hopeful that this afternoon when I see the physical therapist, she's able to say that she can kind of give me some exercises that are going to help with whatever ails me, and then she'll tell me that it's normal. I may have gone a little hard on Tuesday too. I think I mentioned it to you guys, I think on Wednesday, because we had a really good session, but I was kind of nervous because it seems like we did a lot, and I pushed myself a little too much. And that's one of the things with an injury like this is like if you push yourself a little too much, it's just it's counterproductive, right? So we'll see what happens, guys. Anyhow, thank you for watching, you simpletons and degenerates. Thank you for commenting. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the videos. Get somewhere where like you're in a room or whatever, and like you're gonna be doing some studying or working out, and there's like a laptop there or a TV, and you don't care what happens to it because you have your headphones on. Feel free to play my videos on loop so that I can kind of hit a spot with the algo on YouTube, and I can more people can see me, right? I see I got 28 thumbs up, which is great. Again, I cannot emphasize enough just how thankful I am you guys are watching. Misty Tree Woodcrest, thank you for watching. White Feather, I appreciate you, brother. CKT, thank you, brother. Moneymaker Juan, you already know. Ricardo Canales, thank you for watching. Charlie C2, thank you. Charlie, Mr. Lucky, Cindy B. Beach Boy, have fun in Thailand, man. Have fun in Thailand. Spend all these gamblers' money. I see nothing wrong with that. Kilua Dre, Karen D, Bobby Atkinson, Jay Gill, Jude K, Doughboy, John Hopster, Mando number 5, Jeff Glass, Tom Kaufman, D.H. Ruda, Hector, and Kent's mom. You guys rock. Thank you for watching. Let's see you on Sunday evening, and let's talk the markets. Let's see what waits for us on Monday, and let's make some money. Just because I'm going off this live doesn't mean that you guys don't have to pay attention to the market. Keep watching it. If you have, some reservation as to how to approach some trades, remember you're never wrong taking money off the table. It's one of those where nobody ever regretted taking money off the table. So if you're somewhere in the 60-70% of like a cash secure put or covered call, and there's still a long way to go, but you're already at 60-70, don't be afraid to pull the plug and then take that money and then and kind of look for a better entry elsewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same stock. You can make a lateral move. Remember that. Until then, I am the Savage of Wall Street. Thank you, simpletons, for watching. I will see you guys on Sunday. Until then, be happy, be well, make money, and remember, cash is king, but credit is power. So let's make that money. Peace.